Hello everyone, I'm Jung-Chul. Today's topic is the DNS server using bind on CentOS 6.4. For this topic, I prepared there are 5 parts. Part 1 will focus on essential DNS functions 1 with 4 chapters. Part 2 as well, essential DNS functions 2 with the 4 chapters. Part 3 advanced DNS functions with the 4 chapters as well. And the part 4 DNS security with the 4 chapters. And the part 5 will be the DNS bind GUI tools. Chapter 1 DNS service. DNS server is normally called just the domain name the system. And the domain name systems, the role is to resolve the host name into IP address. We call this one the forward lookup. Name, for example, like domain name, www.chul.com like this. This one will be resolved to IP address, for example, 192.168.85 like this. And the IP normally the computer friendly and the name the human being friendly. And also DNS resolve IP address into host name. We call this one the reverse lookup, for example, IP address to name. Also, DNS allows machines to be logically grouped by name, the domain. Also, DNS provides the email routing information as well. In the DNS service, there are many kinds of terms we have to know. Here, there are 3 kinds: zones, domains, and delegation. Domain means complete subtree of the hierarchical namespaces. Normally, just a namespace. And a zone is the part of the domain managed by the particular server. So in the server, normally we call domain is a zone. And the subdomains may be delegated into additional zones. So if we have the one zone, then this zone can create the subdomains, and each subdomains can be delegated by the name servers. Number 3, name server types. So master name server can be as the primary. This will normally contain the master copy of data for John. So normally the master name server supplies all information for the specific Johns. Slave name server can be the secondary, provide the backup to the master name server. And all slave server maintain the synchronizations with their master name server. So see the caching only name server. And the caching only name server, normally the forward the queries and the cache is the result. So the caching only name server does not have the information about the copy of data for a John. And provide the internet root server hint. And this kind of hint normally save this file named .ca. And if we want to set up the caching only name server, in this case, you can use etc.resolve.com, and here just include name server localhost IP address. Number 4, DNS hierarchy. So DNS has this kind of the hierarchy. First, in the top of the hierarchy, there is a root. And normally just can be expressed as a dot. And the first level has this kind of the keyword, the com, edu, god, gov, ent, the mil, net, org, like this. Also here, there is a country, the name, for example, like KR or UK or KH, like this. And below the first level, there is a second level domain, for example, like Microsoft or Linux, like this. So this kind of is the name of the exact domain name. And the exact domain name has their own subdomain. For example, like www or exam4 or FTP mail, there are so many. And each host use the individual machine we call just the host, and normally this kind of host use the DNS server to find this kind of the DNS hierarchy. Number 5, DNS name resolution process. Now we are using this host with the local the DNS server. If this host requests some domain name to this local DNS server, local DNS server try to find this the DNS information. If this local DNS server does not have exact information about the domain the client requests, then first query to the root name server, and the root name server does not have information, just reply to local DNS server with information about only .com name server. And then the local DNS server will query to the .com name server. This one also does not have information, exact information about the domain name example.com. Then just will reply with information about the DNS server of example.com. Then this one will the query also, and this one also does not have information about the beta example.com. So this one also only the reply the DNS server of the beta example.com. Then this one query to the DNS server of beta example.com. This DNS server will reply to the local DNS server with exact information. Then this local DNS server will reply to client. This is the DNS name resolution the process. Chapter 2, the DNS server software. There are many kinds of software to support the DNS service. Especially this kind of things is open source software. Bind, PDNS, DNS, masquerading, DJB DNS, Power DNS, Mara DNS, NSD, Mind. There are so many. In this video, I will focus on only the Bind because this is a standard DNS server and the free software product. Is this one normally distributed with the almost the Unix and Linux platform. So if you install Linux or Unix platform as open source, then you will find this software. And the others, if you are interested with the other software, you can test this kind of software as well for your DNS server. Terms. DNS has many kinds of terms. First, authoritative server. Authoritative server means DNS server hosts primary and secondary server with copy of exact zone data. Non-authoritative server, this one does not contain copies of any domain but only have the cache file. And this cache file is constructed from all DNS lookup performed in the past. FQDM means the fully qualified domain, for example, www.microsoft.com, like this. And the iterative queries, this one made by only the client to DNS server for authoritative answer. This one from authoritative the servers. This one can be provided the server without generating the other additional server-side queries to other DNS server. But the recursive query made by either client or DNS server on behalf of the client. And the response to which can be authoritative answer, for example, like this, or refer to another server if this the local DNS does not have the exact information. CNAME is used to create the aliases, and the aliases means a kind of other or the other name. And the address A means the domain name with the IP address. PTR means the pointer. This one is provide data for reverse DNS. So normally this one IP address with domain name. And the NS means the name servers. Mail server means the MX mail exchange. And the TXT means text, and this one normally used for any kinds of the documentation. SOA means the start of authority. Normally this one is the first record in the zone file to contain name of the primary name server. So in this file, in this record, you have to decide which one is the primary name server for this domain like this. Serial numbers, this is a number to increment when any resource record in the John file, especially in the master name server to update. And normally slave or the secondary server will check this serial number to decide the update or not. Refresh indicate the time when the slave will try to refresh the job from master. So periodically, normally the slave name server will access the master name server to check the update, there is update or not using this refresh time. Retry define the time between the retrieves. If the slave or secondary fails to contact the master name server. In this case, nevertheless of the refresh, normally the slave name server will use only retry time. Expire indicate when the join data is no longer authoritative. So even if the slave name server try to access the master name server using the retry, but no answer from the master name server. In this case, the slave name server decide to expire all join data from master name server. Minimum refine the value to be the negative caching time. TTL means the time to live. This one means that defines the duration. In second, the record may be cache. Chapter 4, Bind installation. If we want to set up the DNS server using bind, you need this kind of the packages, bind utils, bind library, bind chroot development. If you don't have this kind of packages to install using this kind of command, you install the package name. And after that, the service start and the process checking, port number checking. Normally, the DNS use port number 53. If you want to check your names of started or not using the log file, then use this command tail-f log messages. And after that, if you want to register this service to the each run level, then you can use this kind of command. Okay, then let's go back to name server here. Let's try to test. First one, let's check the package. So here, bind DVL, the bind library, bind the utils, bind and bind the chroot. The other package can be optional. Okay, then try to start service named start. Okay, so in my case, I already running. So in this case, service named restart. Okay, now my names were started. So here, let's check the process named. So here I found the named. And after that, let's check. Okay, just the 53. Okay, in my case, now I can find the 53 photo number like this. Okay, and after that, let's check the log file messages. So if you are successful to start the name server, normally in this file, in the log file here, you can find this kind of the messages. For example, here, John, you can find it's a John as well. So this is a John. Now just I have only localhost John. Later we will add the other John. For example, like charles.com or john.com like this. Okay, I check the name server registered in the run level. The log file. Okay, then config. So now the name server in the level 2, 3, 4, 5 already registered and activated in the booting time. Okay, so far I show you how to start the name server using bind. Okay, in the part 2, I will explain the chapter 5 creating zones and adding more zones, DNS route sharing, and master and slave name server. See you part 2.